let's start with this segment. But for how long?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of storylines that are emerging right now, and you're like, okay, this is happening, and this has been declared, but for how long is that going to be the case? And so we'll just start with the quarterback situation. Daniel Jones, Indianapolis Colts, we learned that he is going to be the starter. Shane Steichen saying that it will be for the season. And so they're going into it hoping that he keeps that job all season long. But that's why we come to you. Daniel Jones is the Colts starting quarterback. But for how long? What do you think when you think of Anthony Richardson sitting on the bench? Is that going to be a full year thing?
Well, no. I mean, let me just say this. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. All right. I mean, I'm going to answer this a little bit more with some context here a little first off. All right. I mean, no one knows. We know that. I like his chances. Right? I like his chances because I think Daniel Jones, as you've heard me say a million times on here with you over the years, is better than people realize. He was stuck in a horrible situation with the Giants, like we always joke around with, right? If you're around shit all the time, you're going to start to smell like it. It's going to start to get on you, and you're not going to look so good yourself, right? That's the problem. I do think the league thinks a lot more highly of Daniel Jones than the public does, right? That's for sure. And I think you could kind of tell that with how Kevin O'Connell talked about him a little bit in Minnesota last year. There was more interest for him from other teams at the start of the offseason this year than people would realize, because I think people know there's something here. As we've talked about before too, he's a huge Adonis-looking human being. He's 6'5", 245, and he's pretty chiseled. And he runs pretty fast. We make fun of him because he tripped at the 5-yard line, but we forget to say that he ran for 80 yards before that, right? Which not a lot of quarterbacks have that on their resume. I had an 80-yard run. Like, no, negative Ghost Rider. So there's something there. He's smart as hell. He works hard as hell. He's detailed that way, right? And that is the reason he's the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, like Shane Steichen can say all he wants, like, oh, he's the starter for the rest of the year. He's the starter the rest of the year until he's not, right?
I get what he's saying.
I know.
It's just like, don't think that I'm just making him the starter week 1, week 2, and we'll evaluate it.
Right.
We'll evaluate it week 3 and 4.
Right. I think what he's trying to say is we didn't name him the starter to be the first guy to get replaced, right? Or have the right to be benched. They believe in what they're seeing here. And I'm not surprised they named him the starter. I think I told you, right, at the start of training camp, I think even back in OTAs, I said Daniel Jones is going to win this starting quarterback position. He first off has more experience, right? He knows how to run the offense. He's going to be better at the line of scrimmage and doing stuff like that. And he's a more consistent thrower of the football. As much as you love Anthony Richardson and some of those highlight throws, like we've said so many times too, it's wow. And then it's like, holy crap, he missed that. Holy crap, he missed that. Holy crap, he missed that. Well, they went 3 and out. Oh my gosh, what an amazing throw. And then it's 4 more incompletions that should be slam dunk completions in the NFL. So Daniel Jones, with his experience, knowing how to practice all of that, and the way he's played in the 2 preseason games, no, I'm not shocked by this at all. Yeah. The Colts, they don't have a choice here. This is a big year for them, right? They can't go into the year going, well, we think Anthony Richardson will come around and do all the things we want him to do, and he's been better, so we think it's going to be better. They don't have the luxury of that. Their ass is going to be fired if they start out 1-3 or 1-4. They're not going to be able to battle back from that, right? So that's where they're going with the guy and using the word Shane Steichen used, consistency. Yep. The guy day in and day out through practice has done the right things, gets the right checks, says the right things in the huddle and all that. And that's where Daniel Jones won the job. And he can make a GM and a coach who are on the hot seat feel comfortable with all those type of things and the work ethic behind the scenes to go along with it, right?
Consistency from the line of scrimmage, the operations, the protections, throwing the football. I'm sure we have seen the inaccuracy problems with Anthony Richardson. So what do you think, though? Because I've brought this up to you in the past. Yeah. It would be a waste to have an athlete like Anthony Richardson just do nothing. Yeah. And I get that you don't want to, it's like, oh, he goes in, makes a couple highlight plays, and now there's talk. Maybe he should be playing a little bit more, and that causes a little controversy. But we're all adults here, right? We obviously know that Anthony Richardson can do some things on the football field, and maybe throwing them is not one of them or his strong suit, but there are still things that he can do as a football player. Do you think they utilize him in ways?
You don't force it. I think that's the first thing. Daniel Jones is the quarterback. You play with Daniel Jones. You let him go. Is there a point in the season where you go, hey, Maybe we'll bring Anthony Richardson in for some quarterback design runs.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring him in with Daniel Jones and put him at tailback, and maybe he runs a route, or maybe we toss it to him and then he throws a pass down the football field, right? Something like that, right? I could see that stuff being a part of maybe the game planning as we go on, but I don't think it's something they're going to force week one because of some of the things you said and all that, and they got their team and they want to frame it right now behind Daniel Jones and what he's done and what they've seen. Right? Anthony Richardson has been better. You heard me say it. The throwing is more consistent, definitely. He looks better. He looks more in shape. But within all of that, too, it's, hey, I tapped out, right? I tapped out. We heard behind the scenes that he wasn't doing all the things that, is needed to be done by a starting quarterback. That came out last year, right? He talked this year about losing a little weight. I stopped eating so much junk food and Skittles and all that. He's still very young. He's 23. He's younger than a lot of the quarterbacks that were drafted last year in that draft, right? So he's got football in front of him here. He's just got to keep fighting the good fight. That's what it is. And, yeah, he's not there yet. And we saw that in week one. See, like week preseason one. They don't have the time to go, oh, he missed the guy on the blitz and he should have adjusted the protection or known that this guy was going to be free so he doesn't get crushed and get a strip sack fumble or get hurt like that, right? Those are things, again, that tell me that he's not quite where Daniel Jones is in that department. Yeah. So that's where you got to go. Jones is a machine. He's a machine, and the other aspect of this is Jones can take advantage, I think, more of what Shane Steichen has to offer than Anthony Richardson at this point. You've heard me, I'm a fan of Shane Steichen of that offense, right? I mean, even when they're the 13th ranked offense last year with Joe Flacco playing pretty average and Anthony Richardson throwing for less than 50% and more interceptions than touchdowns.
They were 8 and 9. I mean, they were on the cusp of a playoff spot.
So now what do you think the potential, and I think this is why Steichen goes with Daniel Jones, because he goes, wait, I got no limitations. I can feel good that he can make all the throws on a consistent basis, and I feel good that he's not going to miss a protection or miss something. And I can give him more at the line of scrimmage to check and do this and package plays together in a way where now you can really, this is why you hired me, Chris Ballard. I have all these great ideas. That's why we went to the Super Bowl in Philadelphia. That's why we were, damn good and with the Chargers in Justin Herbert's rookie year and stuff like that. So I think that's the other aspect. And they're sneaky talented on offense. The O-line's pretty good. We know the running back's real. Tyler Warren's there. And then you go through Alec Pierce, right? Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs. Okay, they're not maybe superstars, but they're all really good. They can all be kind of interchangeable, right? There's no weakness to their game. And I think when you think about it from that aspect, you go, yeah, this offense does have a little more potential than I think people are giving it credit for. Yeah. And especially when Steichen has his full Rolodex of plays he can dial up with a guy like Daniel Jones.
You do wonder if Anthony Richardson is going to be a good soldier after this. He said all the right things afterwards. Right. It's a team's decision. You got to work to get back there. But his agent did not hold back, saying that trust is a big factor. And at best, that is questionable right now. We have a lot to discuss. So I do wonder what his people are telling him now.
Or what, did he say something to them when he got out of practice, and does he call them and say that, right?
Yeah.
I don't love that the agent came out and said that.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson said and handled the situation.
He did.
Exactly the way you're supposed to.
We got to live with it. No hard feelings. Nothing personal.
Right. So just leave it at that, right? This is what we're questioning. We don't want to see this. The agent, I think, is working against him here in this one. And again, like we already explained, there's been a few issues with Anthony Richardson. I know he's a good guy and he's got talent and he loves football. I get that. But as we've talked about, there's been some issues about, maturity or handling things the right way and doing all the little things you got to do at the quarterback, right? So they've trusted him through all of that. They want to make this work. You think they really want to go like, hey, we're not going with our 4th pick of the draft in the year 3 at quarterback. Like, you think that looks good on them? No, it doesn't look good on them. I echo what Florio said this morning. No, of course it doesn't look good, but good on them. I'm not doubling down just to go, we're going to make sure this pick looks right. We're going to probably get fired and ruin the whole team, but we're going to make sure the pick looks right, right? And they're not going to do that. They don't think it's ready right now. So go back to work. Daniel Jones has been hurt a bunch in his career. You might get in there. You don't know. Maybe the team does sputter. You get your chance, right? So just be ready, be detailed that way. But, yeah, I don't like that the agent says that. Then he says something like, Anthony Richardson did all the things that the Colts told him to do this offseason. Okay. Okay, that doesn't mean they just anoint you the starter, right? I had a lot of seasons where I did the offseason, everything right. Why wasn't I the starter, coach? Because the other guy's fucking better. Yeah. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
This is not like, it's not Jimmy at band camp. Like, well, you get a red ribbon today because you did everything we said. Yeah. This is not what it is. Daniel Jones also did everything they asked this offseason, and he's pretty good too. So we'll see. And I think the other aspect that I do take into the account here, one, he's practiced better, he's played better. All right, all of that. He's in the trust tree better, as we always joke about. Their first 3 games, Broncos and Dolphins, Broncos, Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 3 top 5 or 6 defenses in football last year.
Will not be easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I think Daniel Jones makes you feel a little more comfortable, right? Because, again, if you think that blitz that hit Anthony Richardson against Baltimore Ravens was complicated, which it wasn't, right? Wait till you see week 1 Miami and the Denver Broncos and all the crazy crap they do, right? So that's where another thing I think Daniel Jones has a leg up in this whole thing. And, Anthony Richardson, they're not giving up on you. Yeah. They just got to do what's best for them right now and best for the team. And you just got to keep working behind the scenes and acting like you're going to get your shot here one of these days real soon.
To your point about Jones staying healthy, he has played a full season in just one of his 6 career years. That was 2022 when the Giants did make the playoffs when he stayed healthy that right. 1 year. And so not that we would ever, and at the top of it, I was like, but for how long? Not that we would ever ask you to have a crystal ball and know exactly when Anthony Richardson's coming back. But if you did have a crystal ball, how long do you think Daniel Jones go? Do you think there's a good enough chance he could go the full stretch?
I do. I think there's enough support system there and the team and the systems there enough to where he can thrive here. Again, I would challenge anybody to go, you put the bottom 15, 17 quarterbacks in football on the Giants the last 4 years, it ain't going to look good. I don't care who you are. I don't care, right? And again, how many damn times do we have to see this? Oh, Matthew Stafford's no good. Year 1 wins a Super Bowl with the Rams. Oh, Baker Mayfield, what a bust that was. What, he was with crap in Cleveland, crap in Carolina. Oh, he's around something hell good now. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football. Yeah. That you go there. Sam Darnold, the same conversation. Geno Smith, same conversation. So, again, I mean, how many times do we got to see this before we go, hey, let's not make a meme of this and start making fun of it right away here. Yeah. I think Daniel Jones has got a chance. And like I said, I think he's a lot more respected around the NFL than people realize. I think the people realize the situation he's been in. If there was a spot, they have a bye week after week 10. If they got to that point and they were like, hey, we gave him a shot here. We tried to see if it was going to go the right direction. I said he was the starter for the year, but we're 5-5 and we're kind of sputtering on offense.
Yeah.
Or 4-6. Yeah, I could see bye week, get ready for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they unveil Anthony Richardson, something like that. If you had to ask me for a crystal ball, that would be my guess right there. Yo, homies, what's up? Thanks for watching Cris Simms Unbuttoned. And just because the weather's warm doesn't mean football ain't still on our brains right here.
We are still working, so smash that subscribe button. We got all the training camp news, preseason news, everything up until kickoff night.
Thanks for watching. And again, remember to hit that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.